I'm so glad that you're here. I mean,
And I'm going on record right now that our motto at the SCILS Region 8 LaSTEM Center is whatever happens, just figure it out. We are figuring stuff out this morning.
on the fly. That was take 5, I think, was what that was.
Isn't that a band or something? Take 5. That's take 6. I don't know what it is.
Look, we need help this morning. Good morning, everybody. It is Ryan Pierce and Cathi Boyne across from me. This is a beautiful Tuesday morning that we're recording. So if we were live, of course, you would obviously know. But whenever you watch this, just know that SCILS Region 8 is coming to a town near you. I can say that honestly because they've probably already been there a time or two. And again, the SCILS Center is doing some amazing things, and that's what we're here to talk about. But first, do you feel like spring is in the air, or do you think that the groundhog is I think he predicted no more winter, but you said something to me earlier, like there's going to be a cold snap. I'm just trying to figure out where we are with this.
Okay, look, we're in Louisiana, so why would we even try to forecast it?
Makes a lot of sense.
Whatever they say, I kind of figure it's going to be the opposite. That being said, I went on record with Ryan earlier in that I have always kept more cold weather gear in the vehicle for the spring when we would be watching baseball than I ever did for football. And so I'm kind of prepared. We went to a baseball game the other day. We were under blankets and everything else, but then I got sunburned like I was in Florida. So who knows, And the groundhog, I totally missed that guy this year. I don't know what Puxatawny Phil was doing, but I just,
I had a friend that lives up in Erie, Pennsylvania, and he said that the groundhog did not see his shadow. And I think that's supposed to indicate that there's no more winter. It's going to be springtime soon. But you just told me it might be 38 degrees coming up soon. So who knows what this, like
somebody
you said,
somewhere thinks maybe, but
I agree with you that why would we ever predict anything in the state of Louisiana as far as weather's concerned?
No. I mean, it's going to do what it wants to do regardless. And we're going to roll with it just like we always do. And so, it would be nice if we weren't down in the freezing territory again, but we might be. As long as the pollen will move on, I'm good. Cold, warm, whatever. Pollen is here.
And it's messing with everybody's
It's messing
sinuses.
with everybody. That's right.
I'm telling you.
Puxatawny Phil is nothing compared to the pollen in Louisiana.
We need a pollinator or something. We need
Something
somebody
like
to
that.
tell us, some animal to tell us whether we're okay.
Oh,
in the clear or not.
please. Somebody will grab that and run with it. We'll hear it next year.
Okay, trademarked right here, pollinator. You got it first on the SCILS Region 8 LaSTEM podcast. So, I have to tell you, I love the fact that you remain on fire for STEM education. I'm so happy, and we can get into it at some point in the show, but I'm so happy that I got the chance to take part in one of the SCILS programs personally, just recently. And now I feel like I'm a little bit more on fire.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it amazing when you feel like you've got skin in the game, what it does? Like you've been part of it, you own it. And that's kind of what we're seeing with the students and with the teachers that are actively engaged. Suddenly they have skin in the game. They're like, I'm part of this. I really am in this network. And it is cool. I've got some powerful stories that are going to come out of, what we talk about this morning. But I was just going to kind of piggyback off something you said a while ago about being on fire. There may be something on fire. I'm not sure what it is. But I was going to say right now there's smoke coming off the wheels of my Jeep because we have been all over the place, and not just delivering STEM kits and going to visit schools and hosting events, but we've been on the road sharing the good news at, international conferences and speaking to, whoever, because there's a story to be told, and we want to make sure that we capture all those opportunities. And so just saying, last week, over 1,500 miles on the Jeep, out there spreading the word.
I sure hope that somebody is giving you some mileage points or
Well,
something.
probably not.
Because the Jeep, it likes to travel. It's the road warrior. We all know this, but we also got to get oil changes and things like that too.
That's
but anyway,
true.
I don't want to get off into that. I know you do it for the love of it, and you're not asking anybody.
Most days.
anything.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, most Oh gosh, and you're headed out somewhere tomorrow too.
I am. We're going down to support teachers who are piloting the Open SCIED curriculum, and so we're going to make a quick run and go help them. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those deals where, and that I've always said, that's one of the things that I think is most powerful about this LaSTEM opportunity is. In Region 8, it is not a one size fits all cookie cutter mentality. We customize to meet the needs of people where they are. And so that means you've got to, like this morning, we got to be flexible. We got to roll with it. And whatever they need here, we need to take care of and then go over here for whatever. So I'm very proud of that. As I age, my body's not excited about it, but that's okay because, you know, we are making those commitments, making those stops, and things are happening.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, let's dive into it. Shall I go to the Facebook page?
Oh, go for it, because I knew you wanted to talk about this.
Well, no, not the event, not the event.
We're building up to it.
We're going to build up to it. We're just going to go in chronological order, and you can tell me.
Well, I'm gonna set myself to simmer then because I was heading toward a boil. So
I'm telling you. So I don't know if we showed this one the last time we were on. Downsville Community Charter School, but that name's going to come back up, I know, in a minute.
It is.
And Monroe's Martin Luther King Jr. High School, SCILS, their first CS4U.
That was in the first one of this year. But one thing I want to say about that before we leave it, just it continues. CS4U continues, y'all. I mean, we started this back in September. We are still booking, dates we've got one that's been booked for May.
Wow,
and again, it goes back to what I said, we want to meet people where they are. We had schools that, for whatever reason or not, couldn't be here during the regularly scheduled weeks or whatever. And so we'll bring it to you. And so I'm proud of that and delighted because some of the folks that are reaching out have never done it before. So we definitely want to make sure that we're out there taking care of their needs. And so super excited about that. We presented on CS4U up in Memphis at the International Technology and Engineering Educators Association just last week, and people were bowled over by it. I got to tell you, I was feeling pretty proud. They thought we were coming to share a national program that we were involved with, and to be able to stand up in front of them and say, no, we developed this,
Yeah. And it's not even a statewide thing. It's a localized thing.
It is.
But it has the appearance, potentially, of a nationwide effort. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
See, that's saying something
It
right there.
is. Well, maybe just saying other people are confused, but we'll take it as a plus. We just love sharing the story. We do, because it's been really popular. It's been very effective. And we're truly proud of it and love doing it.
Well, if you think about it, it lets people know that they can do something like this too, and it can have a great impact.
The whole
and
deal.
it can start as just a seed, and it can germinate and blossom and grow into something magical, which is, again, what's happening. I actually thought of something as you were talking, which is some agencies, some schools can't get to you. Some schools you can't get to. There's only so much time in the day. How important is it to go back to a place, to re-engage a school, to keep being on the forefront of their minds that, hey, we exist and your students need this training so that they can open their eyes and their minds and their hearts to something different, to something that's greater than what they ever expected it could be?
So here's the deal. There's never really a one-shot deal, because you can do something once, and while in the moment that may be awesome, but there is no internalization of what's going on. And so you have to revisit. I mean, that's pretty research based. When you talk about when you're, teaching or whatever, you say it once, okay, so whatever, it goes right over most people's heads. You have to repeat things multiple times. And it's kind of that way with the one-on-one experience. You don't want it to be a one-off. You want it to come back. And so we want people to get some traction with SCILS. We want to get traction in the relationship with other people. So that means going back, inviting them back. Had an email from one of our new partners that had come for the first time in the fall. Got an email and she's like, we want to come to the thing in the spring. Our kids are dying to come back. Can we be a part? That's what you want to hear. It was memorable, it was effective, it was meaningful. So yes, we want to repeat. So definitely it's going back. And I think too, if you do a program once and don't repeat it, you're like, well, this was no big deal. So
Right.
the fact that we continue to do it over and over and over again, I think it speaks well of the program, but also of people's response to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Thank you for answering that question for me because it's just been simmering. Use the word.
Simmer.
on my mind. Now let's go a little bit. Let's change it up a little bit and let's
Okay.
go to. We went past CSVU, of course.
We're always celebrating our women
women
in
in
STEM.
STEM. Just that is what again. I'd
And
love
let me
to see
just
it.
say, one of the things
Fire
when
science at that.
when the smoke was coming off the wheels,
Mm-hmm.
went from Memphis to New Orleans, the quota. Gosh, the quota USA. It was a big deal. Asked me to come down and speak, and they were very specific. Will you speak on girls in STEM?
Yeah.
They wanted to hear about it, and so we've done all this background on it, but we have some very specific things that we've done because they want to inspire their members to kind of be looking forward to
Right.
kind of break out of the mold and serve these girls. And so it was a great experience. And I might have been off. I mean, it was 8:00 in the morning, so I could have been confused. But they seemed so hungry for it, and just
Right.
like sponges soaking it up. You sit and you talk to people, and you kind of watch the body language and watch the their facial expressions, and if they're writing notes, which I don't ever expect that, but when they do, you're like, oh wow,
They're really
And
engaged.
yeah, and then as I'm leaving, I'm a Baptist girl, so I was like, man, I should be passing the plate because people were grabbing my hands and thank you, Cathi. I was excited, but it made me feel wonderful to know that this is a group of people that are interested in this, and it kind of validates what we're doing here.
That's such a good word, validation.
Yeah.
I want to validate you on the show and say it's kind of hard to fall asleep when you're talking and you're engaging with an audience because the passion and the years
I thought
of
you were talking about how
experience-
loud I am.
the years of experience, the passion, your dedication, and that's, of course, you've done tons of things for our local community, all along the I-20 corridor before you did SCILS, right? And you've won awards that I know you're very humble and you just kind of push all that to the side and all that, but there's a reason why you always find yourself in these positions to lead the charges, to shine a light where maybe there was darkness, and that is because you always exude in whatever you do. You always exude the passion, and people pick up on that.
Oh, wow.
And they really feed off of that. And I think just that's all. I guess I could just end it right there. It's just you're a great person to be around.
Well, you're very kind to say that, and I wish I could get that in writing from my mom with the thriller. Although she will listen to the podcast, so she will hear it.
That's right.
But
That's
one
right.
thing I wanted to say is the last thing I left them with, as I was, it kind of, I don't really prepare. I just kind of speak from my heart. And the last thing I left them with was we should all be focused on these types of opportunities because we want to leave the world a little better than how we found it. And so that kind of drives everything when, because people they get on me sometimes and go, I thought you retired. Aren't you going to retire? Whatever. And I said, well, as long as I feel like I have something to contribute and it's meaningful and I'm, capable of doing it, I really want to because that kind of drives it. I don't want to leave my work undone. And I think, we all should be mindful every day of what we can do to make the world a better place.
You know what's funny about that statement?
What's that?
I came across a phrase. I don't know if it was a quote. I can't attribute the quote, but it said, there is no finish line.
No.
We will never have achieved or accomplished or given back all the things that we have in our heart to give back. So I just say, keep racing.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you said that about the finish line because my little mama, my mom's mom, always said, start like you're going to finish. In other words, if you start it strong so you can finish strong. And I think I'm always mindful of wanting to finish strong. And I don't think I'm there yet. I want to finish strong. And so anyway, ever onward. That's the deal. Ever
That's right.
onward.
Ever onward and ever onward to another woman.
What a
in STEM.
great segue there, Ryan.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at this and
Isn't that
keeping in line
fabulous?
with the SCILS statewide Girls in STEM initiative, which is happening. Is it Yanaret?
Yeah, we think so.
2024 Million Girls Moonshot Flight Crew from Gretna, Louisiana, down south. It says she's Louisiana's first ever member of the
Right.
Moonshot crew and is interested in pursuing chemical engineering. So that is fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Wanna
And the fact
celebrate
that she is the first, and we are all really mindful of celebrating her. She will be featured in our next Louisiana Girls Collaborative newsletter and just spreading the word. And part of this is we want other people to know, well, hey, if this young lady from Gretna can do this, I bet we've got somebody in our school that could do it too. And so that serves as inspiration. Yes, Louisiana is every bit as capable, can do these things that other states are doing it, and we've got kids right here that can handle it. And so she is a great ambassador for this and should be a real inspiration for people coming behind her.
Speaking of kids, here we go. This was posted on February 7th. Louisiana Tech University Science Olympiad Invitational Tournament. What is this about?
Oh man, these are cool days. Now look, we have schools that come and there is just a host of competitions they're involved in. There are some, you see there are written tests, others they're building towers or they're doing mousetrap cars or they're doing bridges or launching stuff and everything. And so schools prepare by having these different, look at that young man with that. I mean, that's some pride right there and that's some good work. But anyway, and then they come and compete against other schools. And so it's kind of like a track meet. You come in and you do your event, and then the team score is comprised of everybody's, totals going into it. So you see this young man, he was in multiple things. He's got multiple medals around his neck, and all of those points contribute to the team score. And so at the end of the day, you identify the individual winners, but then it all kind of comes together for a big look. That got a plaque there.
I like how you said that, a track meet.
It is.
My son runs track, and it's the cumulative effect
That's
of
right.
not only what you did in your event, and then you add all those things up, and then the team total helps to win the entire thing for your group.
Yeah, and I mean, so there's total engagement. Everybody's got their role. Everybody's got their job, and you have your area that you can kind of like become an expert in, and yet you're contributing to an overall goal, if you will. And so I love these kids. They're excited. I believe this is Cedar Creek, a local school in Ruston. This is their first year to ever participate.
Looks like,
And
I saw a lot of hardware.
They have some hardware, brought it home. And so that is way, way exciting. And these youngsters, they'll grow up to get involved in some other things and do who knows what. Very proud of that. And I love that they have leaders that are really seeking out opportunities for their kids and pushing out of their own comfort zone. Like I remember when their counselor called me about one thing. It's when they were going to come to KidWin. And she said, look, I'm trusting you completely that we're going to handle. I said, you're going to be fine. We're not going to let this be a bust. Trust me, you've got this. And she brought them in. Those kids won. I mean, one big did great. If she hadn't been willing to step outside of her own comfort zone and then encourage the kids, because look, the adults are the ones that get in the way most of the time because we're all terrified.
Let's raise our hand,
Yeah.
right? We have to be the experts in the room. We have to know what we're doing. We have to have the confidence and show that confidence to the kids. And so when it's something that we're not sure about or we're
shut
not
it
confident
down.
about, nope, not even going to take a chance,
Right.
right? Because we don't want to look less than
Yeah.
in front of these kids.
And
That's
the
crazy.
kids can take it up and run with it. And
Yeah.
so I've always kind of been this individual that thinks if I can just open a door, open a window for these kids, they're going to define. And so, I mean, that's kind of part of what we need to do is to encourage and support these adults so they in turn can encourage, support, and push forward these kids. I told the quota group when I was talking to them in New Orleans, I said, listen, we got to remember that we are helping to mold the leaders and decision makers and policy makers of tomorrow. Right now is when they need to be building their confidence and putting, tools in their toolkit and getting ready for this.
Yeah.
And if we just, sequester them off and say, no, we're scared to do that, we're missing an opportunity for them to blossom into what they're going to be, their potential.
And somewhere along the way, somebody talked to this young lady, Anjali Chadha, and they put it in her mind that she could do some great things in science and engineering. Actually, she's from MIT bioengineering student, one of the youngest If Then She Can ambassadors. and she's the founder of the nonprofit Empowered, launched in 2016 to help high school girls learn technology skills while also helping real businesses in the process. And so it goes on to say each summer, 10 girls go through a 7-week training program to learn technical skills like designing and developing websites and managing social media for businesses. And I wouldn't have thought that managing social media would have made the cut for STEM, but apparently it's related, right? It's related to
technology,
the whole thing. And so she's doing that as well. And it goes on to say the mission of Empower is to train minority high schoolers in technological skills and prepare those students. So that is great. So again, as we're talking about opening a door, opening a window, letting someone know that there's something out there that maybe they didn't know, but that they should try, and who knows where it'll take them. And she's an example that we just had.
And one thing I think is so cool about that is she is the youngest if then ambassador. If she can do it, then I can too. And that brings me back to our Million Girls Moonshot candidate. First
Right.
one from Louisiana. Somebody will see her and go, well, if she can do that, then I can too. And having those role models, those informal mentors in front of us, we all are that to somebody, whether we want to be or not. And so we want to make sure that we're taking full advantage of that opportunity so that we maximize our own potential as we're, helping form that journey for the youngsters.
And this right here, what I love about this is real life. So a lot of times we get our role models, especially us kids. I remember being a kid. We get our role models from television, right? We're watching TV.
Or the concert stage.
Right, concert stage, all those things, right? We want to be just like those folks because they're popular. And it's great. And sometimes even on television, we might see a role played by somebody that looks like us, that is an engineer or a scientist. We might not, but we might. But the fact that these are real examples, real people, this is really happening.
Doing real stuff.
It's not just pretend. That's what is really hits home to me today is that idea. So I'm glad that you guys keep posting these stories, and I don't even know how you find all these stories, but it's such an inspiration as well.
That's all Missy Woolley. She looks it up. Missy Woolley.
I think you kind of hinted at this earlier, but here's KidWin.
Oh yeah.
And funded by Pattern Energy and hosted by the University of Louisiana at Monroe. Tell us how this went. What your takeaways were from this particular event.
Okay, so I could just say completely awesome, and that's just pretty, generic. But here's the deal. I look at this, and my first thought is partnerships, because there were such intentional and strategic partnerships that went into making this event happen. KidWin came after us. They were like, we want a presence in North Louisiana.
Oh, I love it.
And so, and I said, and we want to be that conduit. We want to be that hub because, and I'm gonna be very candid about this. It was new, it was innovative, and we were gonna be first. Yep. And I have a little bit of a competitive streak in me, and so I thought, this is an opportunity for us to get out there and be a trailblazer, be a pioneer. And so, we hooked up with KidWin. They brought in Pattern Energy. We brought one of our SCILS partners in. University of Louisiana at Monroe, because we are trying to have more and more of an authentic presence moving east, because it's just easier for people to get even 35, 40 minutes closer than, coming to Ruston. And so I got to say that I am so proud of these people that participated in this, because they are pioneers too. Coming to show up for something. Can you imagine walking in? Look at this picture. You've got this wind tunnel. You're building wind turbines to go into a wind tunnel. You don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to fly off? Do I know what I'm doing? And so they did it. And I love the fact that as these kids made these, and they got to go do a trial run, 3 trial runs in one wind tunnel before they actually went and did their competition in the other. They had to go then and fine tune them, troubleshoot them. What adjustments do I need to make? We were laughing on the fly. Were we laughing about that earlier about figure it out? They were having to figure things out. That is incredibly valuable. And I can't say enough. What you're seeing there is a MacGyver station where kids had to MacGyver stuff. Now, anybody that, remembers anything knows that MacGyver, could take what's in your pantry and, solve world peace. But, for kids to do that, and these are middle grades kids, and look at that. These are kids that won something. They've got their thumbs up. KidWin provided a $100 Visa card for the winning teams. They were going to be able to take that back and either reinvest it in their team, have a pizza party, go to Walmart, whatever they need to do. And the pride, I just remember one school saying that their kids were bouncing on the way out to the van, jumping up and down. Just a sense of accomplishment. And there's one picture that shows the team that won. See, that young man is working on his sail car, but they had to make a car that would roll in front of that fan, and the one that went the farthest, that team won. And so there's a team of young ladies that there it is, that just recently got interested in STEM. And so I think about this: they come to KidWin, they win the sail car. I mean, how is that going to inform their future? I don't know. But when you were talking about the young lady in the social media, in what we're seeing here, the collaboration, their ability to communicate, their creativity, their critical thinking, all of that's going to contribute to success in whatever arena they go into. And so to me, STEM connects to anything and everything out there because of the skills that they learn. And so super proud of that. It was an amazing opportunity for us. And again, we were first in the state. First in the state. Yeah.
Oh, man. I feel like we could just end the show right there because I've heard so many great things in just that short amount of time. And I'm thinking, man, let's just get out there and just do some more. What are we waiting for? But I know that there's more to cover.
There is.
And so we go back to Facebook just for a second. Another woman in STEM. She is Puerto Rican, mathematician. And professor of mathematics at the University of Texas at Arlington. Her research on finite geometries. I mean, first of all, mathematics in general scares a lot of people.
I'm one of them.
I mean, we're thinking, hey, I'm glad I don't have to take college algebra anymore. Or, we're praying for the students that are coming into college right now that are in high school. It's like, just make it through. You can do it. And then this lady, she just took it a whole step further. She said, you know what? Not only am I going to do math, I'm going to excel at math, and I'm going to succeed to the point where I'm an expert and I'm discovering things and I'm adding to the field of research in mathematics and geometry, finite geometry. Wow.
And look at what this is what's wild. What she's doing has applications in computer science and artificial intelligence, which is the big buzzword
now. That's buzzy, for sure.
So, she is incredible. And we need people. Look, I'm not a mathematician. I just don't have any confidence when it comes to math. But that goes back to my formative years and how math was dealt with then. And let's just face it. Back when I came along, got off the ark with Noah, the kind of teaching strategies that I needed didn't really exist. I'm very kinesthetic. I need to have something in my hands. I'm a visual learner. And basically sitting in a desk and looking forward didn't serve my needs. That's okay. I've done all right. But I think had someone been able to teach me math in a way that I needed it to be taught, I would be better. My good friend Marilyn Himes, who is a master teacher in math, she's always said, Cathi, you just lack confidence. I'm like, well, yeah, it's too late. I don't even know where that suitcase is. But I love that now there's so many applications for it. You're just not learning numbers for the sake of numbers. And I've got to say this too, in STEM, we need to do a better job of emphasizing math. We don't. We tend to get hung up on the S, the T, and the E. And we don't do the M as much. And so we really need to. So I love that we had a good example of someone that's setting the world on fire with that.
Absolutely. So the other thing that was posted, be a part of promoting girls in STEM, the Louisiana Girls Collaborative Project is posted on the Facebook page. And again, it's worth mentioning that this initiative, first of all, exists. It takes somebody to see a gap, to see a place where there's a need, and then to try to fill that gap. Can you tell us a little bit more about this project?
Yeah, so, Girls in STEM has been our thing. And so in an effort to make it truly statewide, we have relaunched, and I have to say relaunched because it did exist some years back. Something, I don't know if you've heard of it. COVID happened.
Really? You don't say?
Yeah, COVID happened and the wheels fell off some things. And so we had an opportunity to recapture it. and relaunch it. And so it made perfect sense because of our Girls in STEM initiative. And so we have, in partnership with the National Girls Collaborative,
Oh, wow.
that we are.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And so we have relaunched the Louisiana Girls Collaborative. We have started monthly newsletters, which anybody can be a part of that, but we use our statewide LaSTEM framework. We send the newsletter to each director every month and ask them to push it out within their network. I was just seeing Region 2's e-newsletter the other day, and they had a link to the newsletter, which I appreciated. Over in Shreveport, they asked me for a flyer that they could put in all the... I mean, I love, again, you do it how you do it wherever you are. And so now we are planning our first face-to-face at the LaSTEM Summit that'll happen in October. You know, it's kind of a step at a time kind of gig.
Why did I think that the LaSTEM Summit happened in
Oh, it
the
did. It
spring?
happens every... No, it's...
But
well, it may have a couple of
no,
years back. Yeah.
Okay, but in October, that's when it happens.
October.
Really.
So you'll hear more about that coming up. But anyway, this is just another way for us to serve the needs of the girls. And because, like it or not, they are an underrepresented minority.
Oh, yeah.
And every bit is capable of finding their passion in whatever it is. And so our newsletter provides resources for people that are interested in meeting the needs of girls in STEM, and also kind of highlights some superstars that might help them. Like, we introduce them to a member of our Champions Board every month so they can see, like the very first one, we had a lady in the state that works for Google. You know, she's like a bigwig in Google. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a bigwig in Google, you know?
I would.
So, yeah, I mean, and so it's really cool to see that. I remember you mentioned seeing Jamie Newman in there. Yeah, so superstar that's on our campus.
Yeah, I see Jamie Newman everywhere. I would think I was on LinkedIn at one point, and I saw 3 different posts of her doing all kinds of amazing
She's
things.
everywhere.
And I don't think it came from her. I think it came from other people saying, "Hey, by the way, Jamie was here. Here's her in the picture." You know?
Yeah,
like,
want to be a winner? Hook up with her.
Yeah,
That's
really.
It. Yeah,
really. My
Just don't let
goodness.
that cape on her back knock you out. You know, she is Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of great things. And, you know, that's the thing, right? Those stories have to be celebrated. Again, what we're talking about, social media, you know, needs to be a part of it, because that's probably the quickest and easiest way to get the story out. It may not have the same broadcast reach and broadcast appeal as ABC News or something like that, but it's still out there, and you can point to it as evidence of what's going on. That's such a positive
And here's
thing.
the deal. I mean, there has to be a multiple tiered approach to this. You can't just do one. So, I mean, we do physical newsletters that go out once a month. In fact, one will be going out tomorrow. We do the podcast. We do social media posts, because you hope that in each avenue you'll hit somebody different, because when you hit that person, then they share the word with somebody else. And so kind of a network forms. So that's the hope anyway. And so that's kind of the idea behind it, and we hope it's working.
Absolutely. So now we're getting closer. We're getting closer.
I was going to do like a drum roll.
We're
Not
getting
yet?
Before that, though, we have to look at this one.
Oh, what a
Second
great
annual
day.
Rural STEM Day. Now, this is in Region
6.
Right?
We do this in partnership with Region 6, yes. Okay. Jennifer DePriest, I mean, rocking things down there in the Alexandria area. And this was her brainchild. Recipe for Rural STEM is her statewide initiative. And Recipe is a really cool acronym that I'm not even going to try to do. But it's like, you know, I mean, relevant and all these things, because our point with, I don't think I put it in there, but our point with this is for rural kids. And we live in a very rural part of the state ourselves. That's why we're connected with her. For rural kids to understand, number one, STEM is all around them, that they are not without, you know, despite where they live, it's everywhere, and they are every bit as capable of going in. Oh, look at there, Louisiana Delta Community College star.
Yes, Ed was there.
Ed, the chemistry guru.
Yeah, that's right. So I remember him. He actually set this up at LDCC Day for the high school students and the middle grade students that came by. And the funny thing about it was, he had this very, not harsh warning, but a very stern warning. He said, "Okay, I'm going to put you up on this stool, and you're going to hold on to this sphere." He's like, "Whatever you do, do not try to let go of this sphere." And when I started really paying attention to, and I'm going to put the picture back up, when I started paying attention to what he had, that big old rectangular box down there, and this thing is spinning, and it's plugged in, so it's
Right.
electrical. And I'm thinking, yeah, that shock might not feel so good if you pull away and that charge tries to keep contact with you. And so he made sure that he warned every student. But I tell you what, those students got a kick out of their hair going all over
Straight
the place.
out, exactly right.
It's probably one of the most timeless examples
It is.
of science in action. And yet, I feel like it's making a comeback. Like, I remember being a kid and going to things like that and experiencing that. And then I feel like it kind of went underground for a little while. And like, kids are waking up to this idea that this actually exists, this machine. And oh my goodness, static electricity.
Yeah.
What is that? How does it impact my life? And then Ed does such a good job.
He does a
of
great
bringing it to
job.
life. And he just loves it. When he talks about it, you can tell he just wants to show it. He's a showman of sorts,
Well,
but he really loves what he does.
And he was the perfect example to be there, because here's the deal. These kids went through all these stations and they saw things cool like what Ed was doing. Wildlife and Fisheries was there. Sterlington came down and was demonstrating Kid Wind and had their drag car robotics. I mean, just cool things like that. We had some of the forestry professors from Tech come down and do some things. Oh, look at there, Kid Wind. Do some things with Roy O. Martin. I mean, all these different things so that these middle grade students, well, these are fifth graders. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but fifth and sixth graders, for them to realize there's opportunity for me where I am, and I can still be in a STEM profession around here. So we love having the activities. We love having the professors, because then it gives them an option for where they could go. Do we want to go to Louisiana Delta Community College? Do we want to go to Louisiana Tech University? What route do we want to go? Depends. As I always tell my kids, what do you want your life to look like? Now, what are you willing to do to make that happen? So we hope that this will, spark some interest, plant a seed, and then again help them make informed decisions about their life. Look, one of the most
picture.
One of the most popular stations was Public Works. The Public Works people from Alexandria came in and were talking about water quality and how they deal with it. Kids were fascinated. So for no other reason, look, there's the drag car robotics. They drag racing, I think they call them. I don't think it's a drag car, drag racing. But anyway, they learned something about their community with the water quality and everything. And so Public Works. And so now they'll have a different attitude about Public Works people. When we see Wolves was having to direct traffic with the buses. That's why she's in that sexy green vest.
I love the vest.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I was just scrolling through the pictures at random as you talk, just to get people an idea. And I don't know that we have a Public Works picture out there. Oh, and how did this get here?
Yeah.
But anyway.
I think for our post, I focused on who was there from Region 8.
Right.
And so that's why you're seeing that. But, I mean, if you go to Jen's page.
Yeah, Region 6.
Yeah, Region 6.
I wanted to talk about this one for a second because this, I could assume it's construction related.
This is timber. This is forestry. Yeah.
Okay. But I love the fact that there's a woman in STEM behind the table, giving the instructions, giving the students the ideas behind it. But also you see these implements, you see rulers, and there's your math.
We were talking about
again
math
that you were talking about. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Rulers may scare some folks off. They may not, but again, it's such a pivotal element to what we're doing, the mathematics. You got, and then if you're talking about timber, how tall, how high. If you're talking about building things, you have to have exact measurements for that as well. Certain angles you're working with. So I think it was great that they had this representation at Region 6's summit, which was really great.
Yeah,
really great.
It was fun. It was a great day, and really proud of Jen for her efforts with that, and we love being connected with it and supporting it, and we look forward to the day when we have our own Rural STEM Day up here, and in fact, if we play our cards right, it'll be next year, so stay tuned.
Wait, you mean to tell me that we're doing, or you're doing, and your team are doing all of these things already? Kid Wind and all the challenges, Science Olympiad, and all these things that you got your hands in. And yet the intention is to have a showcase day, a Rural STEM Day.
It is.
Right here.
It is.
I'm not going to ask if you sleep, But okay, I'll just assume that you don't.
The answer to that is no, but I never have. So there you go.
That's a blessing, right? Some of the most productive people, they just have that genetic quality about them that they don't need to have a lot of rest.
Well, you
They
can
just
blame
keep
my
going.
dad for that. I mean, neither one of us have ever slept much, but I'm hopeful because he seems to sleep more now as he approaches 90. So
Well,
I have that to look forward to.
3 hours instead of two,
Maybe-
right?
maybe so.
So let's look back. We're almost to the big thing, right? The big thing. More women in STEM. Jordana Damin, it looks like, part of If Then She Can, or an If Then She Can ambassador, uses her pageant competitions as a platform to get young people into STEM, to prove that anyone can be a scientist. So that's wonderful. And then also we have Sea Change in 3D, Amy Elliott, a PhD in 3D printing. I didn't know you could get a PhD in 3D printing.
You know what? You get a PhD in probably just about anything today.
Yeah, works at Oak Ridge National Lab Manufacturing Demonstration Facility and consults on strategic application of 3D printing technology, which, again, if you think about it, they're printing houses in 3D now. I'm waiting for them to print a car in 3D. It's amazing what you can do with it if you have the right tools.
I was trying to think of who was talking to me about 3D something. I must have been, I don't know where I was. But anyway, I want to go back to and you don't have to go back there. I just want to say this. The young lady that's using the pageants as a platform to talk about STEM, you know, one of the things I told Quota is we feel our responsibility is to support our STEMinists. And so I used the example of Melissa Lee, who, you know, she came to STEMinist Fest. Next thing we knew, she was in a pageant and she wanted to use Girls in STEM as her platform. She won. She was sharing that everywhere. So now she's won another pageant. She continues. She's branched out so that she's talking to boys and girls. But we have, in support of her, we've created these little cards that she can hand out to the kids. And it's 4 take-home STEM challenges, you know, that they can just go home and use what's in their house to do something. And I think it's so important that when we find someone that, you know, pageants weren't my thing, but to support somebody that would be, this is where I want to be, and I can use it as a platform, you know, to use my voice and do this. Part of our responsibility is to support that. And so that's been a lot of fun. And so, I mean, I can see Melissa doing that one day. She's brilliant. I mean, whip smart. She'll probably be on one of these posters one day.
Gosh, yeah, we've seen Melissa's face and her name plenty of times. And yeah, we know that she's just destined to do great things. She's already done great things.
She has. Yeah. So proud of her.
All right, drum roll, please.
Oh.
And what I couldn't wait to talk about, because this was the event that I was at. And
all
oh my
day
goodness.
long. And can I just say, you rocked it. Missy Woolley was saying the other day, what we would have done without Ryan Pierce. So what you were doing, I'm not sure, but whatever it was, it made a huge difference.
Oh, now I get to blush on camera.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to put the pictures back up, but I just wanted to stop and say, what a blessing. Not trying to get religious for those that aren't, but what a blessing it was to be a part of that event. I got to meet and see and witness brilliance. I got to witness perseverance. When, you know, you had kids that walked into the building, tested their devices, and we'll talk about what those devices were, pulled them out, made adjustments, then finally got onto courses. And the courses, of course, they could only do one run. They couldn't test and retest. They could only do it one time. You could see the intensity in their eyes when they got up on the platform and they were working with their devices to get either through a challenge or obstacle course or racing course, whatever the course was. They took it seriously. They wanted it really bad. It wasn't like I'm just here because my teacher told me. Whenever you put the element of competition into something, with these kids, I felt like it brought out the best in them. It really did. And I so appreciated being able to witness, not just see it in pictures, but to just feel it, because I was in the room where it happened. And oh my goodness. And that's why every time I'm looking at these kids and I'm thinking, man, how in the world are you even doing this? Like, I built one of these devices again. Y'all will see it in a minute. I've built one of them before. I never put it in the water. I don't know if it was seaworthy or not. But gosh, just the amount of effort I know it took to not only build those things, but then also navigate those things underwater, and the challenge that they faced along the way. gosh.
Okay.
I'm so proud. I was proud to be there, and I was so proud of them. And that's what I told them after every single time. I said, gosh, you got to be proud. Good job. Great job. That took a lot of effort. I mean, I just wanted to speak some life back into those kids when they didn't do as well. That I didn't say it's okay. I just said, recognize the accomplishment that you made in the moment. You could have just stayed home today.
Right.
You could have not even been a part of this program that your school is putting on through extension of us. And my gosh, you came here and you did it. You did it. Nobody could ask for more. And I know I couldn't have done any better.
Yeah. So for just a little context.
Let's give them context.
This was our first Sea Perch Challenge for North Louisiana. We SCILS was the first, and so here's what I want people to understand. You never know what experience is going to flip a switch for a kid. You just don't know, and that's why we diversify and have all these things. So the true story, I was sitting there because I was at the registration table as they came through. And kids had already gone into the pool. For folks that don't know, we were inside the Lambright Wellness Center, Health and Wellness Center, exercise natatorium, and they're the pool because these are remotely operated underwater vehicles. Yeah, I think I got they're mixed up.
The ROV is
That's
what they
it.
say.
Underwater remote operated vehicle. Yeah, so you can see one there. One of the A.E. Phillips students that they were going to compliance there. But as I was sitting there and the kids had already gone into the Lambright to the pool, this gentleman came in and we had said, oh, I love this one. Look at Amanda Simmons, the 4-H sponsor who helped connect the Simsboro kiddos. Look at her cheering when they went through their first hoop and the kids are clapping. I walked into the gym the pool at that time, and I thought, what has happened?
You thought there was a swim meet going on. The crowd is erupting.
So excited. Yeah, they just erupted. Because it's like you said, they don't know if it's going to work until they get, and then they've got to figure it out. What's going on.
Real time.
But anyway, as I was sitting there at the registration table, this gentleman, because we had said guests could come and watch, and we hoped that they would. So this man comes walking up by himself, and he walks toward the table. And I said, can I help you? He said, well, I'm here to see my son. And I said, well, what is your son? He said, he's in a competition? I said, oh, yeah. I said, they're in there now. I said, go on in the pool and enjoy. He said, no, I want to talk to you for a minute. And I'm like, oh, gosh, that's what I was saying. I've been in education a long time, a parent. What's going on? He said, my son has never wanted to do one thing in school, nothing. He said, I couldn't get him to get involved in anything. No sports, no anything. He said, this is the first time he has ever shown any interest in anything, done anything outside of school. And I didn't know what it was, but I had to come see what it was that has changed him because he is all in. And so, for me, that moment was the win I needed for the whole day. But there's another chapter to this story.
Okay.
So the counselor at school comes in not long after that, and I'm sharing this experience, what this parent said to me. I said, that's my win. She said, you got another one. She says, we've decided we're starting a STEM class on campus for the first time.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm like, okay, you know what? I can go home now. Of course, I didn't. The pizza wasn't there yet, so I couldn't. But Ryan, this is why you do this. This is why we do this, because it's part of that opening doors and opening windows. So yes, it affected that kid, but now it's going to affect how many more as they take part in this class, and then in another year of the class, and maybe it grows into 2 classes, and maybe it grows into 3. A movement begins.
The school picked up the baton. You handed it to them, and they said, yes, we can run with this and go forward and farther than just SCILS Region 8 doing it by itself and putting on the programming by themselves.
And so let me just back it up. So the school first participated in something last year, and then they came back again. And so this goes back to give a weight to what we were talking about earlier about multiple approaches. You have to keep revisiting. It's not a one and done because we kept inviting, because they kept coming back. Look at where what happened by the time spring 2024 gets here. I think about, what if they had said no?
Right.
What if we had not invited? Right. What if we had not done this? I'm not one to sit around and what if, but this is a time when we've got to win. And we don't have to worry about what if because we didn't. But this is what gives you the fuel you need moving forward. If that happened there, then this can happen somewhere else too, you know.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that right there, hearing that, oh, man.
Isn't that something?
I'm thinking back to multiple years ago before SCILS Region 8 was even a thing. Look how far it's come. And the impact, I don't even know if it can be truly measured because there may be other stories that you don't even know about. You know, nobody reported back to you. Or there may be kids at schools and in school systems that are saying, we want more, we want more. And they're putting the pressure, and parents, by extension, may be putting the pressure on some of these organizations to create and have more of these experiences. Because, like you said, if you have a kid that has never, ever wanted to do anything, school is boring, why am I here? I don't really have a charge in life. I don't see why I have to suffer through this for another so many years. You know, you're making me do this. I don't want to do it. And now, just that one. Are you allowed to say what school the student comes from?
I'm not going to just because I don't want to, put anybody on the spot.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it just thrills me. And when I see, I look at this and I think Amanda, came to the very first training we did for this. She's like, I don't know what we're going to do. She connected with Amanda's with 4-H. She connected with Simsboro. Simsboro brought 8 teams.
Oh, yeah.
So Amanda connected with a teacher on the Simsboro campus. They got a little bit of a late start, but were undeterred. And Simsboro ended up winning the Spirit of Sea Perch Award.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were just thrilled and excited.
I love that name, too, the Spirit of Sea Perch. Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a mythological creature.
Yeah. Well, we actually stole that from Kidwin. They gave a Spirit of Kidwin Award because that's where you recognize perseverance and grit.
That's right.
And
they had all of them.
What you're looking at right there, that is Downsville Charter School, their community charter school, their high school team. They are the reason we had a high school division. They had these kiddos that participated with us in middle school. And so when they moved into high school and we were doing Sea Perch again for middle school, they contacted me and said, our kids want to participate. Can we do it? And you know what we said? Yes. That wasn't our plan, but you know what? They wanted and needed it. And so we said yes. And as a result, not only did Downsville bring a high school team, Neville brought multiple teams, Tensaw brought multiple teams. So we had a whole high school division. These young'uns were the ones that earned an invitation to the next at level, and we are trying to support them to go.
So here's the thing. I'm getting goosebumps right now as I look at this picture because I had the privilege of judging their robot on my lane.
Oh, wow.
In the obstacle course / competition, that part of the competition where they had to move rocks and pick up objects and navigate gates and do all kinds of things. And let me tell you, I'm going to put this back up. This team, locked and loaded, ready to go. I don't even know how they thought of this. They had the perfect tools on their device to pick up objects and bring it. The craft was perfectly balanced. I'm sad that the craft isn't in the picture right now. And then there's other obstacles that I wanted to make sure everybody knew. When you run in this course, there is wake by default because there are other
there's swimmers in there.
There's swimmers in there that are trying to fix things and reset obstacle courses up. There are other vehicles that are making wake as well. So your craft kind of gets knocked around, and then you can't see all that well because the surface of the water is doing all this, and you can't see anything. Oh my gosh. Their team, the craft was perfect. Their driver was excellent. And it didn't take long for them to just knock everything out on the course. They didn't get it all done, but they got a whole lot done. And by far, I was impressed with everybody, but they blew me away when they made it look easy on the course that I was judging. And I said, oh my gosh, these guys did. And I actually had to go back on the score sheet they did so well and they did it so fast. I forgot to add some points to their challenge. There was something that I just missed, and I said, wait a minute, I forgot to add the points for this particular thing because I was enamored. So kudos to them. All the teams did great, but I was privileged to judge this team because I saw the brilliance on display, and it was incredible. And I hope that they do go to the next level, that we can get the funding for them. Let me know how much it is. I may have to chip in just as a personal donation.
Well, I mean,
because it was amazing.
I'm feeling the same way, and I'm just proud of them. And I just want to point out that team placed high in You Be the Chemist last year. Those girls were award winners in CS for You, the online I mean, so these are kids that are taking advantage of these opportunities. To see them come back as repeat, not just participants, but to excel. And I'm just going to say 3 of them are girls.
Yeah.
Can we just say?
That's right.
And so everybody out there, anybody from anywhere is capable if they so desire. And look at that. You walk in and see, and it looks like,
Well, it was crowded.
it was crazy.
There were a lot of people. There was a lot of focus. And just, they had teams. I kind of felt sorry for some teams, not because they didn't do well, but because they wanted to do it again. And we just didn't have the time.
Well, that's the nature of the competition.
I wanted to let them get back on the course.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I don't think that's going to be possible, but come back next year or come back next semester or whenever we do it again, because, oh my gosh, they were on fire and they really wanted to get the job done. And I'm going to just point out, that's me right there.
I knew it was. I was gonna point that out. We can prove Ryan was there. Yeah.
And then this is one of the teams I judged.
They were troubleshooting this.
That team too. They got on my course and they were making some adjustments, and I'm telling you. And what I loved about the teams too, some of them asked questions. A bunch of them asked questions like, okay, how do the points work again? What objects are which? And I would flip my chart over and show them, and they would make a strategy at that
to get
moment
those, yeah.
to get those, or whatever the highest amount was, or whatever they thought would be the easiest, or whatever. I mean, these guys and gals were all in.
And I got to tell you, I can't remember. I mean, there were multiple teams that said this, but one of the teams that had girls in it, it wasn't the one that we've already seen. It could have been them. When they knew that there was a part of theirs that wasn't working, or they were rummaging in their purses, they were rummaging in backpacks because they knew they needed something that was a certain shape or size or whatever. And I mean, we're just grabbing whatever to make it happen. Thinking critically, figuring it out. We got to problem solve this thing right now and making it happen. Talk about, I mean, that's what I mean. That's perseverance. That's what we were talking about. Instead of nobody threw their hands up and said, I'm not doing this. They were all in, going to make it happen.
Yeah. And then I remember seeing some groups, even when their sea perch device went down, even when it kind of wasn't working the way it was supposed to work, and they knew the handwriting was on the wall that it was going to be tough, they would still stay on the course the whole 10 minutes thinking maybe there's a way I can maneuver the device to get it to do something in a positive direction that will earn us some points. A lot of these teams never gave up, so I just wanted to make sure I said that.
So what we're seeing on the screen now, A.E. Phillips had 2 teams that tied for first in the middle grades division, and so that's the 2 teams there that tied. You see their blue medals around their neck. But how cool is that it was down so close? I think this is going through compliance. This is the deal. They get there, they have to turn in their technical report, they have to take their device through compliance to make sure that it meets specs, this is no minor thing. And
we know this guy. I believe his name is Michael Stubblefield.
Michael.
From the LAMP program. And so he's volunteering his time.
Yes.
LS LAMP is what it is. For these students, these younger students, and he's in engineering himself.
He is. He built the courses with Missy. I mean, we tapped into him because of his expertise, and so I mean, he was invaluable.
Yeah.
He, just getting it done.
I'm going to talk to him after this is over. He built some tough courses.
Well, we had to build him. You have guidelines on what you got to do. And part of the reason that we wanted to make sure we were doing exactly what the guidelines said is because should someone advance, we want them prepared for what they're going into at the next level. That's right. And so we tried to keep it as close to the guidelines and the specs of the sea perch competition the real sea perch
I
competition.
want everybody who's looking at this picture to see this particular device. Now, on the challenge course, you have to have something that will allow you to pick up objects. And they had the idea to tie or affix a snorkel, is what it was, or what it looked like, to their sea perch device. And that was their way of picking things up. Now, again, you have weights and balance and whatnot that you have to adjust for. But theirs had some promise too. They were on one of my courses as well.
So I guess we should say that the challenge course that you're talking about is one of the things they have to do. The other is an obstacle course where they have to go through hoops and around this and whatever. And so for some, they finish one, they can get it through two hoops. But I'm telling you, they were excited if they made it through one hoop.
Yeah, and that was timed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the whole point was who could do it quickest.
Yeah.
And so that's how the points kind of went down. Anyway,
Oh,
it's a big deal.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that's a big deal. I'm telling you, it touched my heart. I went home and I was talking to my wife about it. And I came back to Louisiana Delta Community College, and I was telling folks about it. And I even I sent an email. I sent 2 emails. I sent one to my immediate supervisor because he asked about it because he knew I was out for the day. Said, Ryan, how'd the Sea Perch Challenge go? And I just wrote him like paragraphs. and I might have sent him a picture or 2. And then he encouraged me we have this internal circulation over email called Week at a Glance here. And so internally, that my experience was shared and some pictures that I had taken were shared to our
awesome
college as a whole, all 8 campuses, all employees, faculty, staff. Everybody saw, if they read the Week at a Glance newsletter, that Louisiana Delta had a presence at this event, and more importantly, that the event happened and these kids were really doing some amazing things. And then the other side benefit of me being there was that I got a chance to talk to the students a little bit. I had some counselors that asked me, hey, so what do y'all have that might be like this at Louisiana Delta Community College? I have some students that might be interested in coming. Or what can my students do at LDCC that's hands-on?
They were asking you that day?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We talked.
We talked, and some students even, they because I had my shirt on. It's a small emblem on the, on my chest, but still, people would read that. And then, of course, I wore it on purpose just in case anybody had any questions. And it was some great conversation. I had a couple parents come up and talk to me about, we see LDCC as maybe a path forward for our child. And so you're talking about a 6th grade parent of a 6th grader. They're thinking 6 years down the road, they're thinking coming to us first.
And
that was so fantastic.
That's part of the equation, because I was over here for 2 days with y'all for LDCC Day. And
days, I should say.
Days, it was. We want these young people thinking about their future. What are the options for the future? What menu do we have that we can give you? So if we have people that are making connections through this experiential learning or these experiential opportunities we have, and then connecting it to post-secondary, what am I going to do next? Am I going to go to LDCC? Am I going to go get a certification here? Do I want to connect it to whatever? That's the end goal. Yep. An informed decision moving forward so that it can help shape the future. And so the fact that those conversations took place, I just had another win. That's mean, they keep coming, rolling one on top of another.
And I remember your reflection, like you were talking about from LDCC days. I'm coming to your table at the last day and there's nothing left on the table.
Nothing.
Everything. I'm thinking, wow, I know you can engage people, but man, everybody picked up a pamphlet or flyer or something, and you just walked away from that experience feeling rewarded.
Yeah.
And I honestly didn't expect, I didn't know what to expect, but I'm glad that it worked. I'm glad that it worked out for you.
Well, and there it goes back to what you said earlier, Ryan. Y'all provided the invitation. You provided the invitation. I said yes. That's kind of the whole deal. You have an opportunity, you take advantage of it. So tomorrow when our newsletter comes out, I'll just go ahead and do a teaser. Front page of the newsletter, there's a big graphic that says 1,000 plus.
Really?
And after finishing LDCC Day number 2, SCILS had amassed over 1,000 workforce connections in the last 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Now
is
that's
amazing.
talking with individuals, giving them information, pointing out where training takes place, pointing out what opportunities in our region they have for workforce and different careers and the kind of living they can make. It's just kids don't have a clue unless we, open this up to them. And so for us to have that opportunity, I mean, that's a lot. I think it is 1,000 plus. That's 1,000 people that hadn't heard, prior to us starting that. And so y'all provide that opportunity. Let us get beyond that. We never dreamed that kind of number would come up, but
and here's the thing.
Tickled.
Yeah, I'm happy it happened while you were here.
It did.
I feel like that was fortuitous. But also I remember you were here a week or two before that taking advantage of another opportunity.
That we're just using your facility.
Our resource fair
Right.
that we had, and you had a table set up for that. I feel like I don't expect you to be at everything that LDCC does or puts on for
Why
the
would I
public.
not?
But it always amazes, and because I don't have that expectation, and yet you're always around. Spooky Science Night. If it's not you, you have somebody around represent. Somebody's there. You know about it. You have your finger on the pulse, and you just keep going. And we thank you because it's partners like you that allow us to have successful events that we have, and we just thank you so much.
Well,
for being here.
I think the key word there is partner, and that's another thing that I emphasized when I was talking to the Quota Club is that when you look at our work, the first word that should come to your mind is partnership, because we do nothing in a silo, nothing, and our work would be one-dimensional in a silo with our lens and what we're interested in and what we think is important. What all that is doesn't matter. We need to be looking at it through the lens of all the people that we work with and listening to their, input and letting them help form the decisions. And y'all are such an important part of that. Partnerships are what drives this train. And we are grateful for that because we just wouldn't have the opportunities without it. Nothing we saw on the screen today as we talked about this complete hodgepodge of stuff would be possible without our partnerships. I mean, it just would not happen. So hats off to you. Hats off to you.
Right. Well,
Premier partner.
Hey, look at that. We got a gold star.
That's it.
Right
That's
next to our
it.
name. That's basically it as far as what was posted on Facebook. There was one other post of a woman in STEM. I guess I should put that up before we conclude. Bridget Coughlin, passionate about animal life in oceans, rivers, and lakes. She's holding a penguin, if y'all see that. And she's committed to extending the learning conversation beyond the walls of the Shed Aquarium, a very famous aquarium. But again, go. Anybody that's watching this, go to the Facebook page. Make sure that you engage, you keep up with what's going on. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to challenge us, and really it's more of a challenge to you, that at some point we can potentially post some pieces, calendar pieces, dates, events, upcoming, maybe something out there on Facebook so that people, when they go to it, they're not just seeing what happened in reverse or in the past tense, but they're maybe seeing what's coming up. I haven't talked to you in a while, but there may be something, a CS4U coming up that's potentially going to happen with one of our LDCC campuses. So, I know that we had talked about that a while ago. So whatever the case may be, and if not there may be another place, another campus, that we can host it. But we want people to know that they don't have to be a spectator.
Oh, right.
That they don't have to just hear about it after it happens. They can be a participant.
Or a partner.
Or a partner. I was going to say, consequently, if you're a partner, then maybe it's something that you feel so compelled or so drawn to drive. You have the ideas all of a sudden. Hey, I think we should do this. We need a little bit of support, but we'll give the majority of it, but we just need a little bit of guidance from the SCILS Region 8 LaSTEM Center. And so we encourage everybody out there who is watching this, who is following things, you want to get on board. This is not just a fly-by-night, we're here today, gone tomorrow type of operation. SCILS Region 8 LaSTEM Center is here to stay because there is a mission and a purpose, and we need you. We need the partners. We need you to come and be a part of this amazing, life-changing organization and initiative. So please please get in touch with Cathi. You can get in touch with me if you want to,
That's
and
right.
I'll route you to Cathi. But we need you. We can't do it alone, and we're going to change Louisiana one kid at a time.
That's right. That's right. I love it. I think that pass the plate and amen. There we go.
Well, I think that about does it for us on today's episode. I don't even know which number episode it is, but we're just so happy to be a part of it and that you took part in it. And we will see you next time around as the music sneaks in.
Bring it on.
Take care.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.